Hello everybody, I am joined today by Donna from Surrey Choices, who's going to be talking about their Shared Lives programme. So I will hand over to Donna to introduce herself, and I know you're going to talk us through some of your slides and then have a sort of discussion afterwards. So we're delighted to have you. Thank you so much, Donna. So over to you.
Well, firstly, thank you very much for inviting me. So my name's Donna Willson. I'm the Registered Manager for the Surrey Choices Shared Lives service, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about Shared Lives and the things that ourselves and Surrey Choices can offer. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a short presentation, and we're going to have an opportunity for questions afterwards. So Shared Lives, if you aren't aware of it, it is across the UK, there are lots and lots of different schemes. Some are run by local authorities, some are run by private charities, some are small independent schemes. We are actually under Surrey Choices, working alongside Surrey County Council under their umbrella of a local authority trading company. Shared Lives scheme enables people to have care and support, but they stay in a carer's own home. So the support is provided in carers' homes. So that might be an individual carer, that might be a family. It really varies, and our carers are from very diverse backgrounds and experiences. We have a lot of people that have a background in health and social care. We also have people that have no experience whatsoever in health and social care and just have the kind of values that they want to be able to support people in their own home. It has in the past been likened to kind of fostering, but as an adult service. We've tried to move away from that, but in order to get people to understand how it works. So our Shared Lives scheme, we are responsible for the care and support and overseeing of our Shared Lives carers. And our Shared Lives carers are all self-employed, and the scheme itself enables us to recruit, to train the carers, to obviously do all the background checks like DBSs and things like that. And then we monitor the arrangements. So our Shared Lives arrangements, they might be on a short-term basis for short breaks. They might be a long-term arrangement. We have people that lived in Shared Lives for a number of years. In fact, some people have lived with their Shared Lives carers for over 20 years. But we also have a lot of people that might use it as a stepping stone in between services, maybe home from hospital, that kind of thing. But we have a lot of younger people that use the service that use it as a stepping stone into more independent living. So it really varies. We are an award-winning service. We won 2 awards last year, and these photos you can see are of us winning some national awards from Shared Lives Plus. So we were very proud because there was only 6 awards and we won 2 of them, which was fabulous. So we were very pleased with ourselves for that. We do have a CQC rating of good in all areas. So as I said, the role of our service is to train and recruit and assess the carers. Our Shared Lives carers go through a Shared Lives assessment. They have pre-approval training to decide whether that's really what they want to do. And if they decide that they do want to continue with us, we then do an assessment. For most of our carers, it takes between 3 to 6 months for the assessment process. And that's kind of gathering all information, getting to learn about them, putting them through various trainings. So they'll have training in things like safeguarding and first aid and mental capacity as their basic core training, and then they'll have additional training after that, depending on the people that they're working with. Again, our scheme are responsible for all the kind of documentation around support planning and risk assessments and things like that. We monitor the arrangements, and obviously we deal with the people in the arrangements, resolving any issues that there might be, and so on and so forth, and to ensure obviously that we are compliant with CQC requirements. So that would be things like medications and moving and handling and all of those kind of things as well. Why people choose Shared Lives? The brilliant thing about Shared Lives is it is in just an ordinary home environment, which is it makes it's so appealing to people because people just become part of their they're naturally part of their community. They get invited to next door neighbours' barbecues and things like that. Relationships begin to form very naturally. It's not such a clinical environment. So it is the perfect opportunity for people to kind of learn and develop skills in a perfect environment, you know. And one of the things that, you know, is really important is the matching process. So ensuring that we're matching the person wanting to use the service with the appropriate shared lives carer. That might be someone that has the skills that person requires, you know, if someone particularly requires mental health support, or, you know, and things like that. But equally, it can be things like just having interests that they share, which makes, you know, the arrangement so much more pleasurable for people, because we look to match like for like. You know, where does this person want to live? You know, what kind of care are they looking for? And we work very hard on that matching process. I've got a video, but I'm wondering if it will play through Zoom. I can try, but if not, it'll be on the slideshow.
Yeah, give it a go, and if not, we can make sure that it's on there.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes these things work and sometimes they don't.
Okay, it looks like it's working. Skip the ads.
I can't, there's no sound.
Can you hear that?
No. No.
Obviously, it's got the.
Yeah, no, there's no sound, unfortunately.
Sorry, I can continue to play it. Obviously, it's got the subtitles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just send it out.
What we can do, we can put the slides with it, but what we can also do with this recording is we can put the link to the actual video in the, that's probably the easiest thing to do actually, in the comments. That's probably the best way, and then everyone watching can click onto that link and watch it from there.
Okay, so I'll leave it then and just go back to the presentation, if that's all right then.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll make sure that link's in there.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, apologies for that, everybody. I suddenly realised afterwards that might not work through.
It's sometimes a bit hit and miss with with things like that, isn't it? No problem. We can definitely pop the link in.
Okay, perfect. And as I said earlier, obviously I want to big us up in the fact that we did win 2 awards last year. One of them was for the Outstanding Care of the Year award, and the 2 carers that won that, they aren't actually from a background of health and social care at all. One of them's a security guard at Heathrow Airport, and the other one works in retail, and they have been the most amazing carers. They're just fantastic. They support a gentleman who's lived with them for a couple of years now, and the gentleman is just living the best life. And you know, because of all the things that they supported him to learn, you know, the use of technology like mobile phones and things like that. I mean, he's been all over the place. He's been to Rome, and he's been to here and there and everywhere, and he's having the most fantastic life, and it's just fabulous. And there is actually the photo there is of the 2 carers and the gentleman. They're also there with one of the the counsellors. Sorry, I couldn't think where she was from there, but she's from the Spelthorne. So
how wonderful. That's really, really wonderful.
Thank you. Okay, so plans for our future. We are growing, that we're concentrating on growing our service. We've actually grown quite dramatically over the past couple of years. Shared Lives is becoming more and more known as a form of care and support. It was always kind of, lots of people didn't know about it, but we're getting the message out there now. I mean, it's fabulous for so many people, so it is growing dramatically. So our targets are to grow over 20% over the next year. We're looking at getting our current existing long-term vacancies filled. We are looking at getting a wider team. We're extending across. I mean, we are across the county, and we do also work in neighbouring boroughs as well. We've got a couple of new initiatives going, shared dinners, which I'll talk a little bit about in a minute, and something called Restore 2 Mini, which is we're offering training to carers and families around recognising health needs in an individual, and we've got one of our shared lives carers is currently going through the training, and we'll be able to be rolling that out soon. So we're quite excited about that, because there is very much a need for it, and it has been very much welcomed. So we'll be running training around that shortly, when we've all finished our training, that is. And shared dinners, as I say, I will talk about. So what is shared dinners? We're looking at this. I'd like to say this was my idea, but unfortunately it wasn't. It came from a mental health social worker who recognised that there was a need for maybe people that lived independently, but just needed that little bit of keeping in touch. So the idea of shared dinners was born, i.e. someone goes to a shared lives carer's house for a meal. They support with the prep of the meal. They have, general family conversation and things, but it also means that the shared lives carer can do that little bit of in touch work with that person, be that looking at, I don't know, correspondence they may have received and they might be confused about, helping with benefits, just health and well-being checks as well, really, following up the people that have been taking medication and things like that, and of course being able to flag up any concerns that they might have with people. So although it was born with the idea of mental ill health in mind, obviously it can appeal to so many people for so many different reasons, and we'll be rolling that out very shortly. So as I've kind of said, it's to look at having that kind of weekly support for somebody, just that kind of gentle in touch support, but enabling us to kind of highlight any particular issues that people are having, but also just build that kind of friendship, that kind of relationship, and that resilience, to things that are going on in people's life, being able to have someone to share experiences with, and also things like skills building because of things like meal preps and things like that as well. The idea being that it's going to be approximately 3 hours support a week for the individual, and the fee will be £45 per 3 hours. But as I say, it is just designed for this. There's not a kind of expectation that the person would be supported by that shared lives carer in between visits. It would be just that kind of 3 hours a week. And it also means that people are having a decent meal, and can be talked around healthy eating and things like that as well. So we're quite excited about the prospect of starting.
Sounds brilliant. Sounds really exciting.
And that's the end of my presentation. But do you have any questions for me?
Brilliant. Well, I mean, I have to say that was, I personally didn't know anything about shared life, so I've learned an awful lot already, and it sounds absolutely brilliant. I suppose my first question is how do people access, how would they, is it through a referral system, or how would they access this service?
So referrals are made to us. A lot of referrals are made from locality teams, etc. But also we have people that the family will make a referral, or the OT will make a referral, and the hospital, and so on and so forth. So referrals can be made directly to the scheme, and actually on the PowerPoint there is the email address of the Shared Lives scheme and the phone numbers, and my phone number as well. So referrals can be made directly, but also we encourage people to just pick up the phone and have a chat, or send us an email if they've got a situation that they want to talk about, wonder whether shared lives would be appropriate for that. What could we offer support? Because we also do things like, it's not necessarily overnight support, it might be additional support where we can work on things like skills building, travel training, food preparation, and things like that. So there's lots of areas in which shared lives can fit. The only kind of specification is that it's from the shared lives carer's home. So not for the carer to go into somebody else's home. It could be that the person meets at the carer's home, or they meet in the community and they go back to the carer's home, and things like that. But in order for it to be shared lives, it does have to involve, because that's our ethos. It's about being part of someone's community, and building those bonds.
Brilliant. No, it just sounds brilliant, and I think we hear from families an awful lot that they they get to the adult, they get to sort of 18, the adult stage, and a lot of the services comes to an end for them, and it's trying to find all the different ways that they can get that support, you know, and trying to, you know, fill that gap almost. And I think particularly things like short breaks, and, you know, for families who have used that, you know, for quite some time, and then they get to the adult stage and you know, that's it's not there anymore, and they do, you know, we hear from friends all the time and say, you know, well, what can I do now? So this sounds like it could be a really good fit for those families. And I guess, so in terms of, is there, you know, is there a wait, you know, for this, or is there, you know, what's the kind of availability, I suppose? And I'm sure it changes from time to time, but
so well, we have a current availability list that we send out monthly, and that list, obviously it's anonymized, but it lists areas that carers are in, kind of, you know, whether they've got children, whether they've got pets, you know, what their interests are and things like that. So we have that, and we always do have vacancies. The length of time it takes to make a match depends on the individual. It's one of the beauties of shared lives, and I've worked in lots of different adult social care settings, but the thing that I love about it is so personalized. You know, some people, they might do a visit and then maybe do a tea visit and think, yeah, this is it for me, I love this, I want to stay forever, kind of thing. And then other people, it might take a lot longer. You know, it might be that they go to the carer's house, they have a bit of a look round, or they then meet the carer and they go to the cinema, or we've worked with people that it can take months to kind of form that relationship. But also, you know, the person, they need to be comfortable. So we have people that might meet loads of carers, and kind of, you know, decide which carer they like from that. So it as in terms of how long does it take, it's how long is a piece of string, because it's so person-centered that it purely is around that individual. And you know, and with regards to area, you know, does someone need a specific area so that they can continue with their education, or you know, where all their friends and family are, or are they prepared to think of other areas and explore other areas? So
no, it sounds brilliant. And I guess I'm thinking about the, you know, who sort of our members obviously are all our parent carers, and I'm just thinking, how does sort of the parent carers fit into that? Because, you know, obviously, although they're adults, a lot of, you know, the young people that we sort of hear from are, you know, the parent carers are still very, very involved with them. How does that kind of fit with this?
I mean, absolutely, and fully understand that. I mean, Shared Lives works, if Shared Lives are working with young people that are 16 to 18, it has to be decided that Shared Lives is the appropriate pathway for that individual. So, you know, if children's services are involved in things like that, obviously 18 plus it changes slightly. But we actively encourage families to be part of this, very much so, providing that young person wants that.
Of course.
And you know, we have fabulous relationships, you know, where I don't know, the family might go for Sunday lunch every other weekend and things like that. You know, we actively encourage families to be very much involved, because, you know, who knows that individual the best? It's going to be their family, isn't it? But that being said, obviously we would encourage that if that's from the young person's perspective and that's what they want. Of course,
and that absolutely, and that it sounds just brilliant. And I think, because I think that for a lot of, you know, our parent carers, it's that it's you know, often it's really, really tough going, and having that opportunity to have that break from their caring responsibilities is just absolutely fundamental to their own mental well-being, to enable them to continue that caring role. So it, you know, things like this are just, you know, brilliant. And the fact that you're working closely with the parent as well, you know, is you know, that is sort of it just all fits together, doesn't it? No, it sounds brilliant. It sounds really, really good. It's such an exciting thing. And this shared dinners, I love the sound of that. I really, really do, because it's kind of, I guess it's almost on a kind of smaller scale, isn't it? But it's it's allowing a young person or an adult to be able to access that support on a, you know, on their own terms, and, you know, allowing their independence, but then sort of giving them that almost nurturing side as well, which is, you know, sometimes really missed.
Absolutely.
So it sounds brilliant.
Well, we work with a lot of young people that maybe haven't really had that much experience of being away from home, and something like shared dinners is the ideal opportunity. 3 hours, you know, but that 3 hours can give the family a break. You know, they can maybe go out for a meal and so on and so forth during that time. But it is that stepping stone, isn't it? That going to another area for care and support. You know, not being so reliant on the family, and having something from the young person's perspective, having something for themselves as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's just so important, because I think, you know, we do hear a lot from families where their young person, like I was just saying, you know, they get to the adulthood, a lot of the support stops, and then they become quite isolated, and you know, don't, you know, the family doesn't know what to do, and that, you know, the young person is, you know, hasn't been given the opportunities to be able to, you know, go out and, you know, experience different things. So this sounds, you know, like a really good kind of stepping stone almost, to give them that confidence.
And with the skills building thrown in there, you know, for things like food preparation and things like that.
Yeah, no, it sounds wonderful. Oh, brilliant. It's very exciting. So thank you so much. I think we will, I mean, obviously you've said that you've very kindly said we can share the slides, and we'll obviously make sure that we pop the link to that video in the comments of this recording, and also the email address that you mentioned of how to access that. And is that email address the best place if there are you know, questions and things like that about after watching this video? Would that be the...
Yeah, absolutely. And the phone number on there as well, which is the Shared Lives office. I mean, at the moment, a majority of us work remotely, but if people leave a message, we pick up those messages remotely as well. So that's, you know, that's not a problem if you know, you do get an answer phone and not a real person.
Of course,
do leave a message, and we will get back to you. We have someone that works duty every day that picks up those messages. But if people just want to phone for a chat to find out more information, I've got lots of documents, you know, leaflets and things that we can send out to people virtually, so I can email extra information out. Our Surrey Choices website as well is very helpful, and that also has a lot of services that Surrey Choices offer that might be appealing to younger people. Obviously we have vocational projects, we have employability, and we have our community choices and flexi choices. So there's lots of information on the Surrey Choices website as well. So that's www.surreychoices.com, and that if people go into that, they can watch videos and all sorts of things on the website as well. So
that's brilliant. Thank you so much. We'll make sure we pop that that link on there as well. So brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us and doing this recording. I know it's going to be invaluable for families. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. It's very kind of you to have me, and please don't hesitate to get in touch if you've got any questions.